Hey, how's it going, everybody? So today we're going to continue our discussion on dial peers, more specifically voice over IP dial peers. We'll also take a quick look at digit manipulation, some of the different wildcards that there are. Let's see. We'll also set up a basic class of restriction list or chord lists, and we'll talk a little bit about the auto QoS for voice. And I guess that's gonna be it for this video. So as you can see, I've set up a basic topology on GNS3. So we have two different routers. They're gonna be acting as CMEs or Code Manager Express. So I have router 1, router 2, and I have two different cell phones. Let me bring them up. Alright, so we have Windows 7-1, Windows 7-2. They are two different Cisco CIPC phones or Cisco IP communicators. So let me just go ahead and show you section telephony services. So that's the very least config you need in order to register a Cisco CIPC. Pretty much the maximum number of ePhones, directory numbers, the IP source address, which is very important, and the creation of the CNN files. So let me just go ahead and so what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna set some directory numbers to the different buttons of the phone so we can call to each other. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We're gonna say ePhone directory number 1. We're gonna say number 1001. Exit ePhone directory number 2. Number 1002. Exit ePhone DN3. And we're gonna say number 1003. Exit out of there. ePhone 1, which is this CIPC. We're gonna say button 1, directory number 1, and it's telling us that we don't have a MAC associated to the phone, so we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick. This is the MAC right there, so we're gonna say MAC address is 0800 27C9 6E11, and then again, okay, and then button 2, directory number 2, button 3, directory number 3, and then we're gonna say a quick restart. Okay, so there we go. Now let's go ahead and do the same for the other phone. In this case, we're going to say 2001. 2002. 2003. And then ePhone 1. And I don't think we have a MAC address, so button 1. Okay, we need a MAC, so it's MAC address 0800 27 26 and 0987. Okay, 2 3. Okay, and quick restart. Alright, so after we get the directory numbers on both the phones, we're still not gonna be able to call to each other. Well, and basically it's because we don't have a dial peer between the two routers. So as you may or may not remember, when we're doing a connection between two CMEs or two call managers, what we need to have is a voice over IP dial peer. So that's what we're gonna do now. We'll say XCR here. Let's say dial peer, and it's gonna be voice. We're gonna name any tag. We're gonna just say dial peer voice 1, and it's voice over IP. Okay. All right. So we now look for the. We need to have a codec in order for the transmission to happen. So we're gonna say 711 ULO, and the other command that we're looking for is okay, destination pattern. We need to have that, and it's gonna be because we're going from router 2 to router 1, and we're trying to reach the extensions 1001, 1002, 1003. We're gonna use our wildcard. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use 1 because all the extensions start with 1 and 3 dots. So pretty much what I'm saying, everything that begins with 1, and I don't care, and then after 1 I don't care about the rest, just forward it to router 1. Okay, so this is the same thing as we could have easily done 100 dot and you accomplish the same thing. So um, destination, no, not destination, sorry. What we're looking for is session. So it's session, target, and IPv4, and the IP I have is, let me just do show IP interface brief. You know, I haven't even configured these two interfaces. So, but I know I'm gonna be using 001 for router 1, 002 for router 2. So that's what I'm gonna do, and that's all we need here. Okay, so now I'm going. Yeah, provide 0, now shot, and then do the same on router 1, interface to 0, IP address 0, no shot, and then we're gonna say a dial peer, which is gonna be a voice dial peer, any tag, which is gonna say 1, and voice over IP. Destination pattern, we're gonna use just to demonstrate that it's that both combinations will accomplish the same thing. We're gonna use on this side, we're gonna use 200 dot. Okay, and then session, target, IPv4, and 10.0.0.2. And don't forget about the codec, G711 ULO. Alright, exit on there. And now we should be able to call between the two phones. So we're gonna go ahead and try that. Dial 2001, and there it goes. Okay. All right. So let me just bring this up to the. All right. Okay. So well, that's basically how you will roll out voice over IP dial peers. Um, Something important that you gotta keep in mind is that digit stripping is a actual thing that happens when you're doing POTS dial peers, and pretty much it comes down to this. Let me just take a screenshot of this. And all right, so imagine we have a, where is it? Okay. All right, imagine we have another uplink connecting here to the PSTN. Okay, and so we need a dial peer to come out this way. So what's gonna happen? Well, most of the cases we're gonna have a dial peer uh, doing something like this. then 9, and then T, or T could be for any numbers from ranging from 0 to 32 characters, or 32 digits, from 0 to 9. So pretty much when most of the offices, or most of the companies, what they have is a digit to go out to the external line or to the PSTN. So that's where dial pairs come in. If you have a dial pair or a plain old telephone system dial pair aiming towards the PSTN, in every POTS dial pair, where is it? Yes. So the digit stripping happens every time you go out using a POTS dial pair. So if you have a, I don't know, say instead of having this is your same router 2, but then there's a PBX, and then you have other extensions. I don't know, extension 5001, 5002, 5003. If you create a dial pair going towards this way, what's going to happen is that imagine your destination pattern is 5 dot dot dot, uh, unless you specify no digit stripping, the router, what he's going to do is that as he forwards or as he utilizes the dial pair, he's going to strip this first digit, or the explicitly defined digit. So in this case, number 5, he's gonna strip it, and so he's only going to forward these last 3 digits. So that's pretty much why you would use the no digit stripping. But keep in mind that only happens on plain old telephone system dial pairs, not on voice or IP dial pairs. Okay. All right. So next we have, let me see. So as it says right here, voice over IP dial pairs do not automatically strip digits. So as you saw, voice over IP dial pairs, if the codec values do not match between the two routers, the call fails and returns. So that's why we specify the codec. Um, Dial pair 0 only for inbound dial pairs. Okay, so if you see my where is it? Okay, if we do a show IP route, we don't even have a route to get to 192.168.20.0, which is the IP of this computer right here is 20.2. In this case, it's 10.2. So if you look at the routing tables of the routers, we don't even have a route going or aiming to the other subnet. So, and the actual thing is that we don't even need it, because basically the dial pairs act as IP routes. So instead of having, you could compare the dial pairs to your routing table. So every time a phone a phone call tries to go out, what the Cisco router is doing is that he's analyzing every digit as it's being dialed to compare to a dial pair, and as you can imagine, the most specific dial pair is the one that's going to win. So in case as you saw, we said dial pair or destination pattern 2 dot dot dot, or we could say 200 dot. In that case, the 200 dot will win because it only has one wildcard character. So that's how it breaks down. So okay, all right. So the different wildcards that we can use is the dot that you already saw, and then also there's a plus sign, which basically, here's an example. If we say 3 plus 45, basically you can insert any number or any number of digits, uh, which has to be, yeah, I mean, it has to be the same number as the one prior to the plus sign. So if we say 3 plus 45, you can do 3 3 45, 3 3 3 45, 3 3 3 3 45. And that's basically how it works. This one is the most tricky one, and well, basically what you do is say you had 1-322. What that means that you can put any one, you can put any digit, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. So you can do 122, 222, 322. So okay, yeah. So always remember, there's always gonna be just one digit between the two parentheses. So in this case, you could put 7, or you could put 4 or 5 or 6. So you end up having 722 or 422 or 522 or 622, and that's basically how it breaks down. And well, in this case, you can only set 5 or 9. So as you can see, it comes down to 12, 5, 12, or 12, 9, 12. The T, as I already mentioned, is any digit from 0 to 9 and up to 32 characters. And the comma only introduces a 1-second pause between dial digits. So that's pretty much what wildcards are. And let me see what else I have here. The translation profiles, digit prefix. I'm not gonna touch that right now. Okay, so we're gonna look at the class of restrictions or core lists. And so, yeah, all right. So basically, what it says here: define core tags, create outbounds and inbound core lists, and assign them to the dial peers. The outgoings, the outgoing applies to dial peers, and the incoming applies to directory numbers. And well, that's not always the case, but that's the most common configuration that you're gonna find. Sorry about that. So for core list to work, and this is important, you always gotta remember that in order for a core list to happen or to be taken into account, there's gotta be an inbound and an outbound list applied, and we're gonna look at that in a quick example. So this is basically how it breaks down. User picks up the phone and it's bound to, well, yeah, as soon as the user picks up the phone, meaning because you're gonna look that we're gonna apply one of the inbound core list, we're gonna apply it to the directory number, and then the outbound core list, we're gonna apply it to the dial peer. So give me just one second. Okay, where was I? So I'm just gonna start over. So basically, what's gonna happen is that as soon as the user picks up the phone or picks up the directory number, that directory number is gonna be associated to an incoming core list, and then so let me just go ahead and bring up the. Okay, so what we're gonna have is a custom core list, and then here we're gonna name them. We're gonna say name A, B, and C. Okay, and then imagine there's a phone here and it has different lines or directory numbers. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna assign this core list A to this extension, B to this one, and C to this one. So on the two routers, we're gonna have the dial peers that are aiming towards the different sides of the topology. We have this dial peer going this way and this dial peer going that way. Say on this one going towards router 2, we're gonna give it the core list, say B and C, or we're gonna associate it to core list B and C. So these two extensions will be able to call any numbers on this side, the different extensions, and so A is not gonna be able to because he doesn't have the matching tag of B and C. So that's pretty much how that works. So we'll look at that real quick. And so on router 1, we're gonna say we want extensions or directory numbers 2 and 3 to be able to call any of these extensions. But we don't want extension A to go out to use these dial periods. And say there's another, imagine there's a bunch of other phones here, or I don't have anything to. Yeah, so imagine there's a bunch of other phones on this side, and so we don't want this extension to be able to call to the other office or for whatever reason. So we're gonna say going to global config, say dial peer core custom, and we're gonna say name A, name B, name C. Okay, exit out of there, and dial peer core list and list A, exit, dial peer core list B, dial peer core list C, A, B, C. Okay, all right. So like we said, we're gonna apply inbound to the directory numbers, and or did I? Oh, you know what? Yeah, I messed up. So let me do a or okay. So I'm gonna say no dial peer core list C, list B, and list A, and then I'm gonna say ABC, or yeah, it's B and C, and we're gonna say member B, member C. Okay, so gonna do a do show run 5 section dial peer just to see what we have. Okay, we have a dial peer core custom list. We defined the 3 names named A, B, and C, and we created a dial peer core list in which we assign or we make A names B and C members of it. So what we're gonna do now is where we're gonna add this dial peer core list to the outgoing dial peer that routers one is using in order to reach these extensions over here. So and let's go ahead and do that. Dial peer is voice 1, voice over IP, and that's the one that we created a while ago. And now we say core and outgoing, and is VC. Okay. Now we go to the different directory numbers. It's ephone dn1. Remember, we don't want this one to be able to go outside, so we say core incoming, and it's A, or I think we failed to create the core list. So, yeah, so we're gonna do that real quick. Dial peer core list, and it's only A, so this one is member, his only member is A, so ephone dn1 and sorry, core incoming A. Alright, now for ephone dn2 we're gonna say core incoming BC, and ephone dn3 core incoming BC. Okay, so what we have now is that extensions 2 and 3, they are members, or they have the incoming core list of B and C, or the members B and C, and which are the same members that are bound to the dial peer, to the outgoing dial peer of router 1 towards router 2. So what's going to happen is that as soon as somebody picks up the phone or picks up the extension 1002, extension 1002 is going to be associated to both members B and C. If any of those members are bound to the outgoing dial peer router 1, the call is going to be successful. On the case somebody picks up the extension 1, is only going to be associated to the incoming dial peer of A, which its only member is A, and tries to go out using this dial period, which only has the members B and C, the call is not going to be successful. So let's go ahead and try that. If we call from 1002 to any of these extensions, should be successful. There it is. And if we look at, if we try the same on this extension, shouldn't go through. So 2002. Okay. 201. If we try from this one, 2, there it is. So yeah, sorry, I didn't have my headphones on. So every time, if you try from extension 1, you get a busy dial, or a busy tone. So that's pretty much how you go and implement chord lists. Let me see what else I have here. Well, digit prefix is very handy translation method, or I mean digit manipulation method, in which what we do is that, let me go ahead and take a screenshot. Where's it? Okay. And okay, so this is what's gonna happen. This is, imagine this is an office in I don't know, Los Angeles, and this one is in San Francisco. Okay, and so we have the dial period that we already configured here. Um, in order to reach these extensions right here and these extensions right here. Okay, so now imagine this link goes down, or the Ethernet connection goes down. Most likely what we're gonna have is a kind of DMVPN or any VPN technology across these two routers. So we want to have a way to fail over to the PSTN, or the public switch telephone system or network. So PSTN. Okay, so one way to achieve that is having this dial pair right here, and in case that link goes down or we lose the internet connection, we have another dial pair used for going across the PSTN. And pretty much what we would do for that is that we would set a digit prefix. So saying the destination profile, or sorry, the so what we would have here is, so say these extensions are again 2001, 2002, 2003, and so we have the dial pair with the voice IP dial pair over here, which we would give it a preference of 1, just to make it more preferable to go out. And on this dial here, we will have again the destination profile will be, we could use 2 dot dot dot, and then what we will have here is a prefix saying, well, we would need here a no digit strip, no digit strip, to avoid having the number 2 stripped, and then a prefix of, say these PSTN numbers are, I don't know, 580 4 2001 5804 2002, and so we will do a prefix of 58044, and then we will set a different preference to make the router fail over to this one in case this dial pair is not available, or this connection is not available. So that's one use of the digit manipulation. And there are more. There are many more like this. So let me see what else we have. Well, in the next video, we're gonna be setting up the CUCM or the Cisco Unified Call Manager, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do it uh, on my workstation because, to be honest, I'm not even using my ESXi servers lately. Um, so we look at what a cluster is, and so pretty much cluster what is a cluster. Pretty much what it is a group of CUCM servers, and there's always going to be a publisher and a subscriber, and they all communicate using TCP 8002 and 8004. And publishers basically they hold the writable config. um, so I guess that's gonna be all for this video. I have another thing here, and it's the quality of service. And well, we're not gonna be going anyway towards quality of service for these mini videos that I'm recording. But it's worth mentioning that there's a there's this thing called AutoQoS, and basically it's a template that with only couple commands. There's a command that you set on the pretty much on this interface right here, and then the interface is connecting to the different phones. So you pretty much you type in AutoQoS, and let's see, is AutoQoS voice over IP Cisco phone for the interfaces pointing towards the Cisco phones, and the interface voice over IP Cisco dash soft phone for the CIPCs. But what's important to say is that the AutoQoS is just a set of commands that pretty much allows you to very quickly roll over quality of service settings for your infrastructure. And that's very you can edit those settings after that, because pretty much what you do is that you type in AutoQoS blah blah blah, and then you are able to see on the running config the different values for the markings and classifications and all that kind of stuff that it does, and you're able to modify that and tune it whatever way you want. But that's pretty much what I wanted to show you for now. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.